What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I just want to say how blown away I was when I dropped the new hoodies. They were sold out of all sizes within 45 minutes. That was absolutely insane, and I was not expecting that at all. To anyone that picked up a hoodie, I am insanely grateful, and I just wanted to make that known in the beginning of this video. I already have everything all folded, ready to go. Today I'm going to start packing everything up, and I wanted to also let you guys know that I have a full restock of the hoodies coming within the next 2 weeks. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I don't have an exact date of when I will get them in my hands, but I know that it should be within the next 2 weeks. So as soon as I hear from someone, I will let you guys know. But again, I just wanted to say thank you. The support has been crazy on these. Before this video begins and we start working on the LS400, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. I just wanted to take a minute to recognize a game that's really raised the bar for mobile gaming, and that is Raid Shadow Legends. This month is Raid's official 2nd anniversary, and it's achieved some amazing things and had some truly memorable moments in those 2 years. It's come a long way in that time, and the game and the Raid community are in a better place than ever before. There's never been a better time to start playing. Now, what I like about the game, and probably the first thing that I ever noticed when I started playing, was the graphics. The graphics in this game are absolutely amazing. The gameplay animations are extremely smooth, and the cutscene graphics are next level, which someone like myself, being a visual creator, can really appreciate. Another thing I love about the game is the way you can quickly level up your champions by farming through the campaign. You play tons of campaign matches, grind out XP, and earn loads of silver and a few artifacts at the same time. This month is Raid's 2-year anniversary, and the schedule is absolutely packed with amazing events. They have 6 straight weeks of anniversary events and tournaments, running from March 1st all the way to the middle of April, all of them with insane prizes to win. They're even launching their first clan versus clan tournaments to give players a chance to compete directly against another clan to see who comes out on top. And if that's not enough, they're also releasing the first champion in the badass looking Shadowkin faction, which I can't wait to see, and I'm definitely going to try and get my hands on. Raid's huge already, and their whole anniversary event makes it an awesome time to join the Raid community, so don't wait around. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in my description or scan my QR code, and you'll get your free epic champion Jotun, who's amazing for the Doom Tower, 100,000 silver, 50 gems, and 3 ancient shards, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Once you're in, you can find me in game under the name divine_media, and if you're fast, you can join my clan. And it's that easy. Just click the link in the description, and I'll see you in the game. Now let's get started working on this old girl. It has been a while since we have touched on the Toyota Century front end swap that I plan on doing to this LS400. It's the weekend and I'm absolutely dying to work on this car. I have not touched on the LS400 in a while, ever since we did the manual swap on the Soarer. I've been absolutely enjoying the crap out of that car, and this car's just kind of been sitting around. But as you know, we have the front end swap, the full Toyota Century front end swap that I have been kind of sitting on, because it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, but in terms of recent modifications to cars, I think that is going to be my all-time favorite thing that I ever do to this car, despite it going to be a absolute crap ton of work. Right now, space is tight here at Adam's shop, so obviously I don't want to blow apart the entire car and leave it sitting out, so that's why I've been kind of sitting on it a little bit. But today, I really want to get started on it. I'm going to run back to the house, and I'm going to grab the fenders and maybe a couple other pieces and take them back here, and we're going to start mocking some stuff up, which, oh my god, I'm so stoked for. The hype from you guys behind this whole front end swap has been absolutely insane, and I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting on it, but it's a huge task to undertake, and for me to fully blow apart the car right now is just kind of not the right time to do it. But today marks the first video where we're actually going to do some Century swap stuff. So I'm super pumped. Let's head back to the house, grab the fenders, and get started on this thing. I was expecting to have to fold the seats down and everything, because these fenders are absolutely massive, but they actually fit perfectly in the back seat, so that's sick. All right, So we got the LS400 in the shop, and my goals for today is to get one or both of the factory LS400 fenders off the car again, and try and mock up one of the Century fenders, just to kind of see where everything's going to be lining up, because I have since discovered after I bought this front end that it was not going to be anywhere near as easy as I had thought to do, and that explains why there's only, I think, 2 in the world that have been done. So I have both Century fenders here, and I also have the Junction Produce rear bumper that I was able to pick up. I would like to try and install this today. Obviously the bumper is white and it's got a little bit of repair work that needs to be done, but I think that it's relatively easy to take these off, and if it's easy to do that, I will put this on today, and I might even paint the white section black just to kind of make it blend in more. Like I said, this bumper needs some fiberglass work and some paint work anyways, so even if I was to try and paint it black, it really wouldn't matter too much because it's got to all get refinished anyways. But this car has just been sitting here waiting for this whole thing to go down, and I've been so eager to start, and I just couldn't wait any longer. So I need to do something Century related to this front end, and I know you guys want to see it too. So play my favorite game of trying to get these ramps under the front wheels and get this front end up in the air so that we can take these wheels off, start taking this fender off. All right, front end is in the air. If you guys remember the last time that I took these fenders off, a little bit of an ordeal, but because I knew that I was going to end up taking them off again, I did myself the favor and kind of left half the bolts out. So fender's still like fully tight on there, but all the hard bolts to get to I left out just for this reason. So hopefully this fender uninstallment will go a little quicker than the last time. Quick tip that I always tell everyone when they are taking off LS400 fenders is this piece right here. You have to be extremely careful when taking this piece off, and 9 times out of 10 when you see an LS400 and those things are just flapping in the wind, it's because someone did not undo the clips behind the fender liner when they took it off, and they just thought they could just pop it off with a trim tool. It's not how it works. Take the fender liner off first, and then up behind it will be 2 clips up top that you basically squeeze with pliers, and it'll come out nice and smoothly. That way you don't break anything, and you can hang on to these, because these are very hard to find, and just do yourself a favor. Like my wire tuck is holding up well, no rubbing on the harness at all, which is great. Love to see that. So as you guys probably can see from the title and thumbnail of this video, ever since I got these parts and brought them back to the house for the first time and kind of mocked them up next to the car, quickly realized that I was getting myself into a lot more than I was expecting. And that's fine, because I love tinkering and I love longer process projects like this, just because it's always so much more satisfying when it's complete, just kind of like this car, but on a much lesser scale. So yeah, I just want to show you guys something. So I took the LS400 fender off and I mocked it up next to the Century fender, and well, take a look. So here's the Century fender. There's the LS400 fender. They are extremely different in size, and that's not the camera playing tricks, that's actually the size difference between the two. Even though the chassis of this LS400 is very similar to the Century, it is still very different, and it's definitely not as easy as just taking this fender and bolting it up. Unfortunately, I wish it was, but if it was, then there would be a ton more people that have done this. So going right off the bat, you'll notice that the back part of this fender is extremely wide compared to the back side of the LS400 fender. Also, you'll notice the wheel arch, the wheel well of this fender is huge compared to the smaller wheel well of the LS400 fender. And the same thing for the front part of the LS fender. It is just massive on this car. On top of that, the actual height of the fender here is a little bigger on the Century fender than it is on the LS400 fender. So now it comes down to, what do I have to do? Basically, I've talked with a few body guys, and all of them kind of said the same thing, and that would be to take both sets of fenders and either cut them in half or cut just the nose of the Century fender off and mold it to the LS400 fender, which is probably what we'll end up having to do. Since this section is a little bit taller, if we cut it here and the same thing there, then there will still be kind of a size difference. That and this wheel well is shaped much differently than this one, so I think just cutting it like this probably won't work. And what we'd ultimately have to do is basically just cut it here. That way we have all the bracketry for the front bumper and everything, and put it onto the LS400 fender. Now, some of you guys may know Adam or Bow Division. He was planning on coming by today and looking at the car as well and kind of diving into it with me. He is going to be helping me on this whole project, and I can't wait for that. I've always wanted to work with Adam, and he has been a big help with tips and tricks for when the Sora was getting painted. He wanted to be a part of this project when I announced that I was doing it. But unfortunately, he had things come up today, so he couldn't be here for us mocking things up. So either way, I'm gonna press on and see if I can kind of get this Century fender mocked up, just so I can get an idea of the size of this.
I am at your service.
You are at the service.
I am here to eat and help.
You got the Wawa and everything. So I want you to take a look at something real quick.
Does it just fit?
No? In a perfect world, yeah. Now take a look in the fenders on the ground.
I was telling you, dude, that the translator you're using when you're ordering all this stuff that said it was like a direct fit. I told you that I didn't think it was a direct fit. You're like, oh, it says bolt on.
No.
Is this what I'm looking at?
That's the Century fender, yeah. But I wanted you to look at it while it was on the ground next to the LS fender, so you could get a visual comparison.
So it's a long nose conversion.
It's a big boy conversion.
Can you do that though? Instead of chopping the back and welding the fender, can you make your car a long nose? Because that would look so fucking cool.
I want to really badly, but the problem is the wheel well of this is huge compared to this one, and it would look like I had like 8 inches of back caster. Like, we can mock this fender up and like zip tie it up there, but the wheel is gonna fall super far in the back and just look weird. But I'd love to add another. Surprisingly, this thing's almost 10 inches longer than the fucking LS fender, which I had no idea about until I laid them on the ground.
That's some serious stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we can mock it up and zip tie this thing. And
yeah, that sucks about the wheel well.
Yeah. I really wish it was that easy. It would be so cool to add more length to this car.
It doesn't look like the wheel well's that off, to be honest.
It might be. It might not be too bad, but we'll definitely.
If you hold the back section of it, there's like a few inches, but the front comes so much wider too.
Yeah.
It's just a wider arch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would work.
You think?
I think you should put this on the car, put the wheel on, and see how it looks.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like it's a little far back, but
not too bad.
No.
All right. Well,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it sticks out a little bit farther here, but it also comes way wider here too.
Yeah. I wonder if there'd be any way for me to like bump the wheels forward a little more too. I'd have to move the whole.
It would. No, you wouldn't. So with the way that this is designed, if you shorten this all the way, which you're in the middle point, it would bring the wheel quite a bit farther forward.
Okay.
What you need to do is like this is what gives you the caster.
Okay.
So when you shorten that, it'll effectively pull this way.
Okay. So that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. It'd be. Oh
and technically speaking, too, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to modify that and just move this point or shorten this arm.
Yeah.
And then move everything farther forward.
It would be so cool to keep the length of this thing and just make this car 10 inches longer.
Yeah.
It'd be a fucking boat. I would love that. It doesn't look like the arch here is too off. It would take a little modifying. The LS door is a little more curved, but
you should take the front bumper off and put both of these on and the hood on.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, I'll tackle that. These are like my favorite sets of wheels I've ever owned, but I really find it funny how the only way I can get the center cap out is with a GoPro suction mount. I would just try and pry on it from everywhere, but there's no pry point, so I would just be kind of destroying the outside of it. So as you guys may have seen in that time lapse, we were able to get the fender to kind of actually fit up a little bit. Obviously we're extremely far away from a fender actually getting mounted fully to the car, but when I had mounted it to here, the back fender hole lined up with this pretty much perfectly. The door shape was just ever so slightly different, and would probably be easy enough to just kind of body work out of either the door or the fender. And then the actual hood difference was a little bit different, but I have the entire hood. I don't have it with me, but when we put the hood on, I would imagine that it would line up with the fenders pretty well. Also, same thing for hood mounting. I think that the bracket here, if I take it off the car and I just mount it to that, it should be the same, if not already the same, and we could just put it on as is, because that hood did come with brackets. What I did end up doing though was this cowl was getting in the way of actually fully seating the fender, so I just took a razor and I just trimmed a little bit of the cowl back. Not a huge deal. These cowls are pretty much everywhere at every junkyard, so if I end up needing another cowl, I can always go get one. But for now, for mock-up purposes, I just trimmed it back a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can actually get the fender to fully sit now. Other thing that's kind of in the way is the factory fender studs for the LS400. They're not the same on the Century, so they're kind of in the way. But for now, at least, I'm going to try my very best to get this fender to sit on here as close as possible. That way we can get an idea of what it's gonna look like. So we have quite a lot of work ahead of us. Today was just kind of like mock-up purposes, checking to see if things would actually line up with the body, which some of them kind of do, and like the mounting tabs kind of line up here and there, but the overall shape and design of these fenders is different from the LS400 fenders. They do share the same body line on the top, but they do also have a different body line going down the side. So we'll probably have to address that. Obviously, you can see with this fender on, it makes the factory caster of the LS400 pretty much useless. There's a chance that we might be able to modify my caster arms to bring the wheel that much more forward, but we'll have to mess around with geometry and stuff like that to make sure that that's even possible. I did FaceTime Adam from Bodie Vision. We kind of looked at everything up close, even though he was busy with something today, and we both agree that we would like to keep the added length of these fenders to the car. Not only will it make our lives easier because we won't have to basically cut both hoods in half and weld both hoods together, because if the fenders are 6-7 inches longer, then that means the hood is also 6-7 inches longer. So it'll save us time in that area, but that still leaves the question of how we're going to get the fenders themselves to line up with the doors. And basically I think we've come down to the idea of chopping the backside of the LS400 fenders off and welding them to the Century fenders. That way the line with the door is the same. But before we get into any of that, we both agreed that the first thing that should technically be going on this car is the hood. And that hood is absolutely massive, and I tried to move it myself, and I could probably move it 5 or 10 feet. It's almost physically impossible to pick up by yourself. And Marco is borrowing the truck right now, so I couldn't use the truck to get the hood and bring the hood here. And even so, I would still need 2 other people at least to help mount the hood up to this car. Anyways, me and Bodhi were talking quite a bit, and we kind of got a lot of stuff sorted out. Right now he's working on Kyle from Booster Boys' Wago, and once that is finished, it's pretty much my turn to get on the chopping block, and we can actually dive into this thing and start cutting some stuff up. Today was just kind of the weekend, and I wanted to get some general ideas of how this stuff would actually look mounted up on the car. The inside of the fenders have a gigantic lip, which we'll have to cut out. I'm probably going to end up removing the chrome around the wheel well as well, just because it does not match up with the rest of the car, as well as getting rid of the chrome bottom piece and kind of mimicking what the LS400 has, which is like the 2-tone panel piece on the bottom. Like I said, I'm stoked on the progress today, and I'm glad that I took the time to do it. It's cool to see 2 completely different cars having similar characteristics under them, and knowing that some things will line up, but some things also won't. I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but it's gonna be a long one. Not talking about the car. The car will be long, but so will the whole journey of this. All right, LS400 is all back together. Fender gap is a little more than used to, but since it's going to be coming off again, I'm not really too worried about it. This thing is such a unit. Ended up being a lot later than I thought, so I think I'm going to save the bumper install for another video. It's fully dark out, and I don't really feel like painting right now, and I'd say we got a pretty good amount of stuff done today. A lot of R&D, I guess you would say, on how we're going to go about this. Like I said when I talked with Bodhi, we think the hood should go on first, and then that will kind of line everything else up where it all needs to go, and we can kind of decide from there if we want to use the entire Century fenders or if we have to cut the back sides of the LS400 ones off so that we have a clean mounting point to the door. Thankfully, like you can see, this body line here does match on the Century and has that body line going all the way down, which is nice, but it does have this second body line, which the LS does kind of have, but it's just very hard to tell because the car is black. It's just not as refined on the LS400 as it is on this one. But look at that reflection. That just caught my eye. Look at that, dude. God damn. Anyways, it's late. I know today was just kind of a mock-up video, but there's going to be so much that we have to do in order to get this to work. And because this is kind of the first documented one on YouTube, I think that it's best that I just kind of include everything that we end up doing to this car, including R&D, talking about it, researching things, mocking things up, taking things off, the whole 9 yards. Just include everything. I think that you guys would enjoy seeing all of the little bits that some people usually would just kind of cut out. So I'm pumped. I learned a lot today. I know you guys want to see this get done really quick because that's how YouTube works, but a process like this is going to take a long time. Between Bodhi's and my own schedule, we're trying to make things happen as quickly as we can. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm probably going to close it out here. Hope you guys are stoked for some Century swap content. Next time we'll definitely include the hood and also installing the rear bumper, and honestly probably taking it to Bodhi's shop and starting the whole process over there. Yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.